morning to your listeners. Thank you once again for giving me an opportunity to share a citizen's perspective on the need for the National Assembly of the Gambia to quickly and without delay consider and pass the draft constitution that was submitted to the same body a few years ago and was deliberately defeated on the floor of Parliament. Now, I want to begin by describing what the draft constitution is. The draft constitution is a very carefully considered and put together public document that took an exhaustive and very broad-based process of consultation led by eminent jurists, people with impeccable academic credentials, people with vast legal experience, and people of good standing in our own society. These ladies and gentlemen took all the time they needed, exerted maximum effort, traveled the length and breadth of our country, got on aeroplanes and then traveled outside of our borders to talk to our citizens about what kind of constitution they want and what shape that constitution needs to take and what was important to them to be the cornerstone of that constitution. They worked hard. They worked well. They brought character, integrity, and professionalism in the process. They were transparent. They subjected their draft to public scrutiny. They heard from people in the input side. They heard from people once they put the draft together. They put all of that into consideration at tremendous expense to the state and to us taxpayers. And I will quote the amount that they spent. $116 million of our scarce resources went into putting this draft constitution together. Like every constitution in the world, it does not have everything in it for everybody. No human being can put that kind of a constitution together anywhere in the world. But it was the best out of a good process led by good men and women. And we all know what the history of that process was. And we also know what happened to that document when it was submitted to people we thought were our representatives, people we thought put the supreme interest of the country ahead of any other consideration. When it was put before them, the president and his allies on the floor of the parliament, led by the Attorney General, defeated the people's document. And the grounds on which they defeated it was not reasonable, was not an acceptable ground, and it was effectively vetoing the considered opinion of the Gambian people using parliamentary procedure. That is why the right thing for Parliament to do, and the only right thing for them to do, is to bring back this document in the form that it was submitted, vote the document up or down, and then send it to the people if they vote it up, so that the people can give their final affirmation to the document that was a product of their consultative process. A parliament that vetoed the will of the Gambian people cannot be and must not be trusted to exercise their discretion to change the document that reflects the broad consensus of the Gambian people. They must not do that, even though the law permits them to do that. But their conduct and their history regarding this document has forfeited them any opportunity for them to do anything with that document other than passing it and then sending it to the people. This is the request I make as a citizen, This is the demand I make as a citizen. I do not want them to substitute their personal, parochial, political considerations for the considered judgment of eminent jurists who have done the job that their country has asked them of to do. They did it with honesty, with integrity, and with openness. And then they brought their vast knowledge, their skills, and their experience to craft a document that is forward-looking, that is democratic, that guarantees the freedom and the democratic governance of the Gambian people into the future. Those members of parliament who have any inclination to do anything with this document should know that we, the people, want our constitution handed, our draft constitution handed back to us in the form that it was submitted to them. We do not want them to use their parliamentary discretion to change an iota in that document. They've already offended the country, not all of them. They are eminently good people serving in parliament, but the truth is that they are a minority. The majority of the parliament have shown us who they are and what they are about. Everything that they do is for their own selfish interest. They have not ever demonstrated any commitment to the Gambian people or the governance system that they want. So we cannot risk the fate of the country into the hands of people who have demonstrated to us that they are committed to nothing other than themselves and what they can get for themselves. Therefore, I, as an ordinary citizen who was born in the Gambia, whose father was born in the Gambia, whose grandfather was born in the Gambia, I demand that the document that good citizens that were selected among us put together in consultation with all of us, the document they put together be brought back to the people. Let the people decide. I do not want anything changed in the draft constitution. And I am urging every Gambian citizen of conscience to vehemently oppose any attempt, any effort, any kind of an arrangement that tries to accommodate the parochial, personal, political interest of people who are in parliament, who have demonstrated no commitment to the country. They must not take the country hostage. They cannot take a governing document that is supposed to last in perpetuity and subject it to their own whims or what they want for themselves and whoever they are trying to protect. This is not right. We must demand our document be given back to us, the people, by our good citizens who put it together for us. Whatever the shortcomings of that document is, it is ours. It is broadly reflective of what our people want. Therefore, I call on Parliament to do the needful, to do the only right thing. Hand it back to the people. Unchanged, unmodified, not a single amendment, not a comma, not an exclamation. Nothing should be added, nothing should be taken from it. And I hope and pray that my fellow citizens who are genuinely concerned about our future, our country, and want to put every other political consideration aside and see only Gambia for the citizens that they are, will join me in demanding that Parliament do the right thing. Don't mess with our draft. Pass it as it is. If you don't believe in it, you can vote against it. But don't change people's word and substitute it with what you want.